Hey guys, my name is Martin, and in this video I'm going to show you how me and my team do challenge mode raids. These are strategies and methods that we have found have been helpful in making the raid efficient, but also not making the raid too complex. These methods aren't meant to give you the fastest raids. These methods are meant to help you and your team get on the same page and have the same goals, strategies, and efficiencies to complete the raid. A raid like Top doesn't require very much communication, other than deciding what roles you're going to do at Maiden and at Nyla. Challenge modes are different. Challenge modes require lots of communication and understanding of what your team is going to do to finish the raid in time to get your role for the dust and the kits. I will show you some of the strategies in banking, prepping, and just doing the raid overall to make it easier on yourself and the team. In our trio teams, we'll have 2 people on Venge and 1 person on Surge and Telegrab. Always make sure the person on Surge and Telegrab is Venge before you start the raid. Go ahead and sip your pre-pots and head into Tecton. One thing that we've started doing with Tecton that isn't necessarily required is luring the boss with a Sang Staff or Trident. This allows you to get extra hits in before the boss actually becomes aggro on you. This allows for more consistent 1 or 2 downs. If someone in your team is doing this, click Tecton as soon as he's clickable. You will not pull the aggro off of the major. Take Venges when you can to speed up this room as much as possible. The rest of the room is pretty self-explanatory. We'll jump ahead. When Tecton dies, make sure to pick up all the potions if you get the drop. If you aren't able to carry everything, make sure someone on your team gets the other things that you can't pick up. In my case, I'm going to start crabs. The order we do crabs in is purple, blue, yellow, and black. The tiles that I have marked on the south are the tiles that my team will be using to get the bounce set up for yellow and black. Using these same tiles makes it easy and requires less communication, so your team knows where you're going to set up the bounce. In the time that I've done the first crystal, my 2 teammates are back. OSRS is setting up for the next 2 bounces while Tom is helping me finish this one. While we do have a slight hiccup, everybody knows what the plan is for the rest of the room. OSRS is set up for first bounce, I'm set up for second bounce, and Tom is in the middle of setting up for the third bounce onto the yellow crystal. There are faster ways to do this room, but doing it this way results in fewer mess ups. After yellow crystal, Tom will set up for black crystal, and then we'll get ready to scav. Scavving and prepping can be 2 of your biggest time wasters in challenge modes. I told my team that I would be doing the scavving for this raid. They dropped me the enhance and the overload so I can begin. If I get planks, I'll drop them for my team and continue scavving. In this case, I do get planks. I make room for them and drop them for my teammates to go build the chest. I sip my brew and restore here, and then drop them to make room for secondaries. I also dropped the overload and the enhance. Always make sure that overloads get picked up and put in the chest. In this case, my teammate does it. We typically use 45 juice, 15 mushroom, and 3 Sicily. After I've gotten at least that much, I'll run to the chest and put in exactly that amount. Putting in the exact amount of supplies you need is called clean chest. Using clean chest is more efficient and requires less communication with your team. After farming, everyone will know exactly what needs to be made and you won't make too much of one thing or too few of another. These numbers can be adjusted, but in my experience, these numbers are a good middle ground where you don't make too much or too little. You're not wasting time making stuff you're not going to use, but you're not risking not completing the raid or needing to prep again later. After getting the secondaries, I'm going to come back for 3 lock picks. This is for thieving. You can also get an axe here if your team didn't grab you one later. We're going to be chopping the tree at Mutadile, so everyone needs an axe. In this case, my team already grabbed me an extra axe and put it in the chest. Make sure to send whatever Warhammer specs you have at Ice Team in and then begin T-bowing or fire surging. Always make sure that the overloads are picked up. Sometimes an overload will get dropped, like in this case. I see it, so I know after Ice Demon I'm going to pick it up and put it back in the chest. After Ice Demon, head into Shamans. Try to only lure one Shaman at a time and try to get him into safe spots if you can. In a 3-man, the only seeds you're going to need here are boot shoes. Make sure someone grabs them here and plants them as soon as you go into the farming room. After planting, bank any raids potions you might have and then bank everything else in your private. After that, grab some vials. If everyone on my team fills up 21, we'll have exactly enough vials for all the secondaries that we grabbed. After you've filled your vials, you can begin farming. If everyone farms 21 Buchu, we'll have exactly enough for the secondaries, just like the vials. Doing it this way ensures that we don't waste time farming too much or too little. Everyone knows exactly what they need to get. After you've farmed all of your Buchu, you can clean it and put it in the chest. We're going to do a small amount of prepping here before we go down into Vanguards. I tell my team that I'll make Revites and Enhances if they both make an inventory of brews. Make this inventory on the way to your next room so you don't waste too much time. Bank whenever you made and get ready to go to Vanguards. In this case, I'm going to bank my salve, my rapier, and my pickaxe, and a stamina. I'm going to pull out 3 brews, 1 overload, an enhance, and a restore. After I've sipped my overload, I'm going to drop it at the top for my teammate to take. In my opinion, following the same Vanguard instead of changing your gear to what Vanguard comes to you is easier. If one of the Vanguards is higher HP than yours, you can help the person by switching to that combat style and helping them get it closer to your Vanguard's HP. I don't like to bring too many supplies into this room because you typically don't need it, and it makes room for whatever the Vanguard drops. Pick up whatever it drops. Sometimes it'll drop a lot of restores and brews, sometimes not. Always make sure to grab the overload. After Vanguards, I like to switch to my range gear because after thieving, we have Vespula. After this, I also like to organize my inventory a little bit. When you get to the chest, bank all your raids potions, and then go to your private, withdraw all, and then deposit all, and begin thieving. After getting your 16 worms, you can dump them into the trough. While my teammates finish their 16, I'm going to begin finishing prep. We didn't finish it earlier because we can finish it here. Note that I know exactly what needs to be made because the only things that are in the chest are things that need to be made. As I finish the last inventory of what needs to be prepped, my teammate finishes thieving. After this, I like to get my gear out for the rest of the raid. This includes banking all of my mage gear besides my Sang Staff and my Arcane, as well as banking my Dragon Warhammer and my Scythe. I combine my staminas, fix my inventory, and then get ready to pull out my raids potions. I also like to grab my axe here because then I know that I have all the gear that I need for the rest of the raid. When you head into Vespula, make sure that you enter on the south side of the door as we do here. This makes sure that Vespula doesn't spawn and then you're able to set up for a no proc. A no proc ensures that you won't have to feed the grubs. The first person in is the only one that can set up the no proc. When Tom runs in, he runs to the white tile that I have marked and tags the portal. This makes sure that Vespula gets on him before it is able to attack one of the grubs. When Vespula dies, make sure that someone grabs all the potions that they drop. At this chest, I just like to make sure that I have enough brews to get through tightrope. We'll have another chest immediately after. We're going to be doing the telegrab method. After we kill the majors, I'm going to tag the 2 rangers so Tom can cross. After I tag the rangers, I back up. Tom will drop the crystal and his Saurus will telegrab. Telegrabbing saves some time, but the more important thing is saving brews. After tightrope, make sure you have all the gear you need. You should have it if you grabbed it earlier, but double check. I always like to have 1 enhance, 2 restores, and overload if I have it, if my teammates don't, and the rest brews. Always make sure to venge your teammate that's not on venge, and venge yourself to get ready for Vasa. I venged Saurus before we came in. As you finish Guardians, make sure that everyone is venged and you're brewed up all the way to 118. This makes sure that you hit the biggest venge on Vasa possible. If you get teleported, pray range and run to the middle. Make sure to brew up shortly after, as you're going to be low HP from taking a big venge. Make sure you're overloaded and then dump your claws into the crystal. When the boss is dead, pick up the potions that you can. If you're running low on overloads, grab the twisted here. In this case, we have plenty of overloads, so we don't need to worry about it. After Mystics, put on your melee tank gear, your staff, and your shield. If the small mutadile is not on you immediately, don't attack it. It almost is here, but then it walks over and starts attacking us. Whenever you get an XP drop from the tree, attack the mutadile and then go immediately back on the tree and repeat. This room is very dangerous in CMs. I recommend staying above 80 or 90 HP. If you get off-parried by the small muta and then a high hit from the big muta, you can die very easily. Try to pay attention to the boss's health. If it gets close to 40%, you should get off of it and finish the tree. In this case, we weren't paying attention and let the mutadile heal. In this case, it wasn't a big deal as we had a pretty good amount of supplies here. But sometimes if you don't have a lot of supplies, mutadile can really shred through the rest of them and you can die, or not have enough brews for ult. After the small mutadile is dead, let someone go into the corner for the safe spot. Wait for this person to attack the boss before you attack it. Then finish the boss. After mutadile, I like to organize my inventory so I can spend as little time at the bank as I need. Like usual, I like to bank all of my raids potions first before banking my personal items. Grab an overload, 2 revites, an enhance, and the rest brews. If you don't have this, check with your team and make sure that they're going to have enough to share with you in the Ulm. Organize your inventory, grab your potions, and then head into Ulm and begin. And you know how to do the rest of the raid. In this video, I covered lots of micro efficiencies that me and my team like to use. As I said earlier, these methods aren't things that are going to get you the world's fastest raids by any means. We just like to use these things to make our raids more efficient. We're not wasting time prepping, we're spending less time at the bank, and overall doing more raids per hour. There are definitely more things you can do, and the things that you find work better for your team, you should definitely do. These are just the things that we like to do on a regular basis. I threw this video together pretty quickly, so there's a lot of things that I left out. I might make a series of shorter videos going more in depth in each room, different team sizes, different ways to prep, and that sort of thing. If there's anything specific you'd like, let me know. I also might do a video similar to this for Tob for different rooms, different team sizes, etc. That'll come later. Anyway, that's all for this guide. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you can have some faster, more efficient CMs. Personally, to me, CMs are fun, but they're also kind of a grind, so being able to do them faster and more efficiently makes me more willing to do them. Good luck on your kits and your dust, and we'll see you next time.